All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Midweek Tuesday for Texas Tech baseball, rolling in Albuquerque, 11-8, the final. We'll talk about that. Tech basketball getting ready to go here in a few minutes, and Stillwater, they need a win. They need a road win against a bad team because that's how they're going to get off that 8-9 line. And we're going to talk to you tonight about the Alamo. If you were in the Alamo right about now, you had in 1836 a little over 12 hours to live, maybe less than that. All right, so you guys know what to do. The early arrivals, let us know the audio is good, the video is good. It's easy to do. Hearts, thumbs up, anything like that. If you are on Twitter, X, or YouTube, you're jumping in on the United Supermarkets chat line. It's easy to do. Just jump in on that. United Supermarkets, Market Street, was there today. Got me some supper tonight. Some chicken bits and everything else. Loud and clear, says John on Facebook, and you guys can get on there. So thank you, United Supermarkets. Great supporters of Texas Tech, unlike some major grocery stores who support other schools down south. And just putting that out there. Hold on a second here. Yeah, there we go. Product placement. So jump in there on that. Baseball, basketball, Alamo, anything else. In three, in two. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt at theraiderland.com. You started your day there today. On Tuesday's Best, we ask you a question on Tuesdays at theraiderland.com. We give you an option to give us the two best examples. Today, soundtracks, movie soundtracks, two best movie soundtracks. Saturday night here at the house, at the compound. I was scanning channels, and all of a sudden, there it is, Saturday Night Fever. And I watched it from start to finish. My wife did not. Imagine that. Probably for the first time in I don't know how many years. And it struck me just how great that soundtrack is. So tonight, I'll ask you tonight, give me the two greatest soundtracks, movie soundtracks of all time. We got Tech Baseball winning 11-8. We'll look at that tonight. And basketball's got to get off the 8-9 line, and you got to do it with a win tonight. The pregame show is on right now. You guys have a better opportunity to tell me what Jeff Haxton may be telling us tonight regarding Washington and whether he can play or not. I don't have that access in front of me. Wish I did. If you guys know, fire away. Let me know, because if Washington can play, Texas Tech wins fairly easily. If he can, it's going to be a slog again on the road. And Texas Tech basketball has to get off to a good start. And they've struggled out of the gate so many times on the road. So we need to see that happen tonight. We need to see them play and get out to a good start. The Wedding Singer has awesome music. Yeah, it's a good movie. Michelle, here's the link for the stream. I don't know what you're talking about there, Michelle. I've got the links. I have the streams. You don't need anything other than what I give you. Weird. Basketball tonight. You got to beat a bad team. You got to get a road win. You start off tonight at hoopshd.com talking about Texas Tech basketball on the 8 line. And that's the reality of where you have been. I'm going to double check this and make sure nothing has changed. But Hoops HD, nitty-gritty numbers. And nobody does it better than predicting the seed lines than Hoops HD and Brackettville.wordpress.com. So today, Tech is the best 8 seed. The 7 seeds right now, Boise State, Florida, Gonzaga, and St. Mary's. 2 out of the West Coast. Somebody's going to knock them off. One of those two. We saw the game earlier this week where Gonzaga said, not so fast. We're not dead yet. We got it. Randy, damn it. Don't compete with Wheel of Fortune. We got to sometimes. So you need the road win. If you get the road win tonight, I think you'll move back onto the 7 line. Anything other than 8-9, I don't care. If you were to win tonight, if you could beat Baylor at home and go get you 1 or 2 at the Big 12 tournament, I think you could get off the 7 to the 6. That's about as good as it's going to get. So is there that big a difference between 7 and 6? No, not really. The only thing we care about, say it with me again, don't be on the 8-9 line, because who do you play? Weston, I'll ask you. Randy, who's paying attention because Vanna, who do you play if you win game one if you're on the 8-9 line? Or game two on that front. You know who, you know what we're talking about. Damon, Urban Cowboy off the United Supermarkets text line for our friends on Twitter or X or on YouTube Live. Hi there. It's easy to get in. Urban Cowboy soundtrack is great. Wiccan Ponub and all the Wong Paces. Wiccan Ponub. Yeah. Once Buckwheat sings a song, it's eternally his. I watched Urban Cowboy all the way through sometime back in the summer. I think he made the wrong choice. He should have gone with a really rich girl, even though she was going to be problematic. But Sissy was going to be problematic. You know they were going to get divorced in about 83 or 84. It wasn't going to work. So he should have gone with a rich girl. Anyways, get the divorce over with, get the money, and get on the hell out of there. And I think he made a bad choice. The reason we're talking about soundtracks today, why would we not? Two best soundtracks, all-time movie soundtracks. Saw Saturday Night Fever over the weekend. So good, so impressive. I was a kid in the 70s. I didn't see it in the theater, but we had the record. You wore that out. Disco Inferno, Burn Baby Burn. Are you kidding me? And it's such an iconic 70s movie. And then Travolta comes back the next year. He does Grease, and then he does Grease again with Urban Cowboy and a cowboy hat. And there you go. Pam. Yeah, thank you, Donald. Pam was the rich girl there in Urban Cowboy. We had the best audience. Do we want to talk about some baseball tonight? I guess we can. We can on that. We can talk basketball. Again, I can't hear the pregame show. I'll look over there to my monitor going, I wish I could hear what, I need a transcript on that. If Washington plays, easy win. If he doesn't, it's going to be tough. I'm also intrigued to see if Lindsey is going to be there tonight. And you guys know why. He wasn't there the other day. We'll see what happens. So Texas Tech wins 11-8 in New Mexico. Yawn. Yeah, big deal. No, big deal. You got to win these games. And Tech is winning these games. Zane Petty got the start. He gets the win, and you get an odd 11-8 save with Trendon Parrish coming in and picking that up, and that's pretty good too. But Gavin Cash, is Gavin Cash like the greatest leadoff hitter in college baseball right now? 30-something bombs a year ago. He's hitting the leadoff now. He's got the average jacked up to 350. Went 3 for 6 today. Led off the game with a home run. That's pretty good. And Tim Tadlock, this is just another example of how he's not afraid to just put the lineup in a hat and start doing whatever. You had Will Burns out there who hasn't played a lot. And I'm going to say this right now. Will Burns, if you're watching, give up quarterback, give up football, play baseball. You could be a professional baseball player if you would concentrate on that. So Will Burns gets an at-bat coming in for Austin Green, who was 1 for 5. McGee started third, Washburn in the DH. Then you had Woodcocks come in, pinch at DH. Bazell, we didn't even talk about Bazell behind the plate because there's this weird thing going on where he got sick. They can't talk about why he got sick. And I really hope right now Texas Tech is listening to me. If this is some sort of weird, he got like tested positive for COVID or something, and we're operating in like 2020 protocols and we can't bring him back for a certain amount of time. Yeah, let's stop that right now. Let's put an end to that. So Maxey had 3 hits today. Have 3 hits? 3 hits? No, 3 RBIs. 1 hit, 3 RBIs. The 1 home run on the day was by Cash. And then you had Pompey, kitchen door. Still nobody has gotten the reference yet. Anybody get the reference? Pompey, kitchen door. Tell me where that comes from. I'll be impressed. All he's doing is just continuing to hit 361. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I want to see the stats on these guys. So yeah, cash up to 350. By the way, he wasn't benched for not hitting well. He was benched for not playing first base well and having hustle and everything else you would want. Pompey at 361. He's as advertised. Where are we now? Yeah, Green at 327. Who else am I looking for? Harrelson at 270. Yeah, he'll get there. How do you see Tech versus Texas this weekend? Great question. How do I see it? I see it as two good baseball teams that have played different non-conference schedules that wish they had anybody other than each other to open with this weekend. Texas obviously goes 0-3 this past weekend. They gacked up big lead against Vanderbilt on Sunday. Then they gacked up a two-run lead. Was it a one-run lead against Texas State on Saturday with a two-run jack in the top of the ninth? They went over. But it's also the same team that played Cal Poly slow, which how much worse can they be than Gardner Webb or Texas Southern? And they shut them out in three straight games. I don't know. I like Texas Tech 2-1 over the weekend. I wish that we had another weekend of non-conference play to really settle out from a Texas Tech standpoint what the rotation, or at least what, if not the rotation, maybe some of the roles. But I like Tech 2-1. And if it was in Austin, by the way, I'd say Texas 2-1. That's what I think on that. Damon, Sissy was the wrong choice. She was dumb as a box of rocks. She was. Taking her little license plate, putting her back up there. What I wouldn't give for that truck, though, right? That black and white Ford. Come on now. If you were on Twitter or X and you're watching, that's great. If you're on YouTube, you're watching, that's great. Fire away your comments. Thanks to United Supermarkets. We're talking Tech baseball, Tech basketball, brought to you in part by Gators Bayou 98th and Slide. The game was on today. The game will be on this weekend. If you can't make it out to Danlaw Field, the game is on tonight. So you think I'm talking about Premier Sportsplex where the game is on. No, I'm talking about Gators Bayou. Hot Cajun food, cold beverages, and all the games are on. So if you want to go out tonight, watch a little basketball, get you some good. Here you go. Get the Cajun pasta if you've never been there, and maybe you know what you like. Maybe you like po' boys, you like fried shrimp, whatever. But if you don't know what to get the Cajun pasta, but get it mild the first time because it's really hot. When you get into the middle ranges on that, yeah, it's pretty stinking hot. So do that when you go to Gators Bayou. And if Rich is managing, tell him I said, hey, he's an ardent San Francisco 49ers fan. We're not going to hold it against him. Jared wasn't able to catch the baseball game. Did Tadlock get ejected? I remember a game where he sat on top of the bus after getting ejected. He was not ejected. We were putting that at about 2-1 today. Maybe about plus 250, plus 350. Tadlock ejected. He did not get ejected. There was not a moment during the game that really required that. I still hate playing those people. I wish Texas Tech would never schedule any New Mexico team. But that's just me. That's just me. Is Texas Tech basketball Sweet 16 if we get everyone back? Good question, Donald. So let's say Washington doesn't play tonight. And I don't know. You guys, again, they're about to tip off. I'm with you. I can't hear the pregame. Obviously, right now, Jeff Haxton and Chris Level would know they're at Gallagher-Iber Arena, which they ruined when they expanded it. It was so much better before the expansion. Anyhow, I don't know if he's scheduled to go or not. And I don't have the lineup in front of me. Now I'm not even going to try. You guys can figure it out. So let me know if he is or not. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitter, you can fire away. Thanks to United Supermarkets. So let's say you don't get Washington back tonight. You still manage to win against a bad team. You hold on to a 7 seed. Okay. Can you be a Sweet 16 team if you get him back during the Big 12 tournament? Yeah, I think so. I think you can, depending obviously on matchups and everything else. That this team, I think, For all the Big 12 teams that are in the top half of the Big 12, the first two games you play, for the most part, are going to be against inferior competition than what you've been playing for the last 2.5 months. It's just like the old ACC, just like the old Big East, the Big Ten for a while. That those first two rounds, you're going, oh my gosh, we've been killing each other, you know? And now we got this. So if Tech is not on the 8-9 line, yes. If they're on the 8-9 line, no, they're not going to do it. Jared, men's basketball, would you rather beat Texas in Lubbock this weekend or host a regional men's baseball? Men's baseball. Sorry, it's just baseball. Nobody else plays it. Beat Texas in Lubbock or host a regional with the Aggies and Longhorns. I'll take beating Texas, and then if you do that, you're not going to host a regional with them coming because they're going to go somewhere else. So take the wins 2-1, and they're not going to send Texas here for sure, and they probably wouldn't send Texas A&M here. A&M will be good enough. By the way, they're playing Texas tonight, and we should pay attention to that. Aggies wear their asses out, score a bunch of runs. Root for Texas A&M tonight if you're a Tech fan. Make them expend arms tonight. Although Pierce is smart, and he'll after about the sixth inning, he won't put anybody out that you're going to see for the most part. So yeah, win this weekend, then don't worry about it. You're not going to see the Longhorns. And Aggies, if they're good, they'll host. You won't see them either way. Premier has like 5 locations around the Hubaplex. If you have kids that are like, young school age, elementary, whatever, and you're trying to figure out cool things to do coming up this summer, because this is when you stress as a parent, check out what they're doing at Premier Sportsplex. It's a great after school program for you kids in Lubbock, and I highly recommend it. My son went there. You get hot dogs, and hot dogs are good. You get to eat hot dogs. Can we get Curtin Wilson back to throw out the first pitch? A Wilsonian magic. That'd be fine. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Release the hounds. Yeah, the dogs were barking a second ago. I didn't know if anybody could hear that or not. Damon chiming in on Twitter. You can get it on Twitter, on YouTube, and everything else. They're already up 2-0. When the hell did they start? They start at 6? Oh, they were going at, yeah, all right, go Aggies. I said it out loud. All right, so here's no inside information whatsoever in Brazil. The way they talked about the illness, it made me think for just a half second, are we dealing still in 2024 with a student athlete testing positive for COVID, and they got a mandatory wait period that they don't know that everybody else is done with? That you get the flu and you can go play if you can take an IV. I really hope that's not the case. The way they talked about it, though, it just reeked of 2021, 22, and I can't talk about it. I don't know. I do not know. I hope that's not the case. I hope we're not playing those games still with that kind of crap. I hope not. Do we expect him to be available fairly soon? Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Hell, maybe he's got mono. Maybe they didn't want to say he's got the kissing disease. Anybody remember that? You got the kissing disease. You got mono. Who you been kissing on? Anybody? See, Jared, right there. Could it be mono? I know they can take a while. Hope it's not a severe mental health issue. I have no reason to believe that it has anything to do with mental health. And believe me, nobody knows more about mental health than me. I'm on that right now. What? So, yeah, that's funny you mentioned mono. That was the other thing I thought about is like, can we not say we got mono? Mononucleosis. mononucleosis, the kissing disease. So hopefully we're sitting here fairly soon and he's back because he's going to be a pro catcher, professional catcher. He will be paid money to catch. Set up, get your right hand back behind your butt, left hand out there, crouch down good, look up, there you go. Update on the Tech player hit on the line drive. Don't know anything more about Trombley. Cannot confirm that that was the exact nature of the injury. Everything I heard initially was long-term prognosis, fine, but I don't have anything to tell you on that, Donald, other than everything seemed to be he'll be fine in the long run. Scary situation. Seen it a couple of times over the years, and just pray for him and get him back out there, whether it's this year or not. All right. So if you are in the Alamo right now in 1836, you were dead 12 hours from now. Amazing stuff. We do on my personal Facebook page an hour by hour type deal about the Alamo. It is still, I think, undercovered in our schools that we shove all the Texas history into the 7th grade. I think you ought to have to do a little Texas history every year. But it still amazes me that a lot of people don't realize that they had the opportunity to leave multiple times. Not just the dramatic Travis takes a sword and draws a line in the sand, and anybody who wants to cross can cross, and it's only Louis Rose who does, and he's shamed, and he walks out, and he does all that. No. Over the last 3 days, there have been multiple opportunities, I'm going back to 1836, to escape during the night, even tonight. Well, I would say last night was probably the last realistic opportunity for large groups of Alamo defenders to sneak out and make it through, because the lines were still pretty far spread out from the Mexican lines. But they didn't do it. And a lot of people say, well, they didn't do it because they were fighting for Texas independence. No, they had no idea that on the 2nd that independence had been declared. They were fighting to uphold the Constitution of 1824. They were fighting for federalism. They were fighting for a lot of different things. But not a single man in there knew that Texas had declared independence when they made the decision to die there in the ditches outside the Alamo. But they did. And we'll never truly understand why. It's amazing. Jared, option 1, Davy Crockett dies in the Alamo. Option 2, executed in front of Santa Anna, according to a journal entry from a Mexican soldier. All right, so what Jared is talking about is the Pena Diary. And I use a source from Stephen Harding, which is great, called Texas and Iliad. Jeff Long does a great book called Duel of Eagles. The Pena Diary, I think, is the best case, hard case of factual reporting on what transpired during the Mexican campaign. And I 100% believe, to me, that there were a handful of Texians. The word didn't even exist then. There was a handful of people that were taken alive that were presented in front of Santa Anna. And I believe that David Crockett was one of those people. And that you had a group of Mexican officers trying to flatter themselves in front of Santa Anna, who fell upon those defenders of the Alamo and killed them. Bayonet, sword, whatever. So my option is number 2, that I believe the Pena Diary is correct. That there was at least anywhere between 10 and 15 defenders that were taken there by the chapel, depending on with Dickinson and the artillery. Now he was killed, obviously. but they were able to fall back, and they were taken prisoner. And I have no doubt in my mind that the Pena Diary is correct, and Crockett was executed there at the end of it. And I don't know why that bothers a lot of people, that he didn't go down swinging old Betsy. I don't know why that bothers so many people, that almost in any situation that's going to happen. So the bloodlust of the Mexican lower level officers in front of Santa Anna probably led to what happened there. Yeah, if you want a really complete telling of it, you need to read Tex and Elliott. Stephen Harding's book is the best, I think. And I'm looking over a bookcase over here. I've got 35, 45 different Texas history books, writings and otherwise. I might even show you a picture of it sometime if you want. My grandmother was a Texas history teacher. She got me into it. I am not by any means a historian, but I think I have a pretty good understanding of a lot of it. Jared, thank you, Fess Parker and Disney for the Davy Crockett dies swinging his gun. Yeah, I mean, made for better copy. It made for better whatever. So, but what still fascinates me that tonight on March 5th, that about this time they still had a shot to get out. Some of them, and not a single one left, and they could have. That amazes me to this day because, again, they didn't know that they were fighting for independence for Texas. They did not know that independence had been declared. Randy, then do you believe that Santa Anna died a coward on his knees? No, Santa Anna did not die a coward on his knees. He was taken prisoner at the Battle of San Jacinto, wearing privates. He stole a uniform from a private, and he was trying to sneak around, and they captured him when he was taken prisoner with a bunch of other prisoners, and all the other prisoners recognized him, El Presidente, literally. And the Texan soldiers are like, why are y'all saying El Presidente to a private? And they, of course, bring him to Sam Houston, who's got a small caliber ball that shattered his ankle. Lost 2 horses that day to Houston at Battle of San Jacinto. And Sam Houston begins to parlay with him and allows him to live because he was more valuable because he could go back and surrender all the forces. Fess Parker or John Wayne as Crockett? Neither one. Both are pretty pitiful versions. The Alamo 1960 version with John Wayne, hey, enjoy it just because it's a John Wayne movie, but it's horrible with a Texas history deal. Fess Parker, even worse. Himmler did the same thing. Yeah, at the end of the world. Yeah, exactly. Wow, you got some Heinrich Himmler, Craig Weir bringing in some World War II knowledge right there as he tried to escape through the ranks the same way. That's why you guys are the best audience out there. It's impressive what you guys can bring to bear. So yeah, Santa Anna, Houston allows him to go back so he can surrender it. Billy Bob Thornton, his portrayal of Crockett is pretty good. The greaseback hair and everything, and the whole, I'll carry your message to old Sam, but he's a mite prickly. And I got to warn you, I'm a screamer. So the Billy Bob Thornton Alamo movie is much more based on the Pena Diary. It's it's more historically correct. It still takes a lot of license, which I would like to think that here in 2024, as opposed to 1836, that we can still celebrate all of the aspects of what happened in the revolution without having to glamorize or anything else. Those guys didn't want to die. They didn't show up there at the Alamo wanting to die. It wasn't a death wish. They weren't dying for Texas independence. They got in a bad spot and they couldn't get out. And at the end, they were like, well, crap, we're done. I mean, right up until the end, obviously Travis and everybody else thought that Fannin was going to be able to come up from Goliad. None of them wanted to die, and they certainly didn't die thinking that is popularized now that by what they did, we're going to hold out on this Presidio, and it's going to allow Sam Houston to organize an army and defeat them down in Southeast Texas. No, no, I had no idea. First off, Sam Houston at that time didn't have any idea that that was going to happen. We can get into the runaway scrape over the next few weeks if you want to. You want to talk Texas history on this broadcast. I am all about that. But each and every individual inside the Alamo tonight, 7 o'clock, and right now, and in 12 hours, they're almost all dead, if not completely dead. They didn't want to die, but they did. And it's a shitty way to get a high school or a junior high named after you. You know, boys were in a tight spot, says Chris. All right, you guys are fun. Enjoyed it. Baseball wins 11-8. We're going to be back with you tomorrow in the morning, Wednesday. Overrated, underrated, rated right. Want you to get on the Raiderland.com. You guys can chime in anytime you want in the comments section. We're appreciating everybody who does. It's not a what do you call it? Message board. We enjoy your comments. That's great. Share that, because every time you share what we do, including this broadcast on Twitter, Facebook, and otherwise, you have our great sponsors. You know, people like Gators Bayou, where they're gathering right now, watching the Red Raiders. Premier Sportsplex, Arctic Air in the Arctic Air Studios, where if your air is not Arctic this weekend, are we going to be cold or hot this weekend? I don't know. Donald says still 2-0, bottom of the second, A&M. All right. Hey, come on, Aggies. Make them use a lot of pitching. Wear them out. Go Aggies tonight. So we appreciate everything you do, being a part of this. It's so cool being able to hang out with you guys. And tomorrow's show, I don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to be awesome, right? Now, we got to say goodbye to the people on Twitter and on YouTube first. So I got to hit end stream and then ask me again. Really? Do you want to? Yes. Yes, we will. And we say thank you